Hello, this is Pastor Russ, and I want to share with you just for a few moments here four things that happens to people whenever that leads to change, whenever change happens in their lives. I want you to see these four things, and we want to see these four things in the people that we minister to here at Faith Family Worship Center. But if you can work with these in the environment that you are in at home or at work or wherever, you'll see a significant difference in the atmosphere of those places. Now, the first thing is they know their identity. For us, we're secure in Christ. Our identity is in Christ. I'm a Christ follower. I am not a kingdom unto myself. I'm not building my own empires. When people are secure in their identity, they know who they are, then that leads to them to be able to verbalize themselves without having to manipulate their relationships. For us, our security in Christ is that we're following God's will. Even though we may struggle to do that personally, we don't have to devalue ourselves because of the struggle. Now, number two, they become more mature. They don't have to prove themselves. People who are loud and boisterous and arrogant, they're over the top, and especially emotionally, oftentimes are people who are not secure in who they are. They're not mature enough to be able to handle that level of relationship. If you can help them grow into that, it will prove to be very beneficial to them. Number three, they understand their authority and the authority they serve. They understand what they have and they understand who they're under. Now, a lot of people want to rebel against all authority. And that comes from an insecurity within themselves. They don't trust authority. You have to build that trust with in relationships with people in order to be able to lead them. But people who understand authority and how to live under authority don't have to demand for anything that they ask for. There might be a number of other things that they have to go through, learning how to communicate, being emotionally available, all the rest of that. Yeah, that can happen, and sometimes in working with authority can be a problem. But as a general rule, people who understand authority, they don't have to make demands because they know how to ask and they know what they already have. That leads to autonomy. Number four, they have autonomy. They don't need money. They don't need ministry. They don't need a title. They don't need a paycheck. They don't really need a lot of affirmation. They don't need a job or accolades from people in order to justify their existence. Yes, we need all those things. But if you're using those things in order to justify the reason why you're breathing perfectly good air, you're not quite getting it. You're not secure in who you are or knowing your identity. So those four things we want to see in people. Now, once they embrace all of these, they become immune to the emotional attacks that would come against them. And the enemy browbeating them, the world browbeating them into submission, as it always wants to do. So don't be an emotionally driven leader. That isn't to say that emotions are not involved. They are involved. Emotions is a part of who we are. But too many people are making long-term decisions without considering the consequences of their actions. Or in other words, I'm going to make this decision because it's going to make me feel better right now. I'll fix the rest of it later. Without that long-term ability to be able to look down the line and determine if your decisions today are going to affect you 30, 60, 90 days from now, 5 years from now, or even the rest of your life, will prove to lead to a life of foolishness, as the Bible will call it. But security isn't in our feelings. It's a part of who we are, but we are secure in Christ. So help people discover their purpose in Christ. Help people to discover who God created them to be. Number two, grow in their relationship with them. Help them grow and mature as you're growing and maturing. Number three, understand how to live under His authority. Help them to understand how to live under His authority. That removes a rebellion factor out of their lives. And then they will thrive not only as individuals, but as leaders, as parents, as employees, employers, whatever position that they are in life. They will begin to grow and thrive in that environment.